Okay, so welcome to the Post-Orthodoxy. Please help us get money to build a studio video.
You might be finding this video on GoFundMe.com/Post-Orthodoxy, or you might be finding it on Facebook.com/Post-Orthodoxy.
If you're familiar with our show, we had a year-long season of weekly radio shows on KVMF LP Butte, a local community radio station. We were banned and gagged from saying we were banned. So now we are out of the radio station and require some nice microphones and some nice lighting
and camera.
Perhaps a camera that's not our cell phone. We'd like to take care of our audience and give them something nicer to look at. We have some friends who brought over some of their gear and set up a studio here for the work that they do, and we're trying it out. You can maybe help us out, set up a permanent studio in our own house.
The things that we are hoping to raise money for will enable us to bring in guests from around the planet into the live stream for interactive conversations with our listeners and friends of the show. We don't have the capability of doing that right now with our current equipment, so why would you want to participate in our fundraiser?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, why would you? Post-Orthodoxy is an ongoing conversation about changing our minds. We both grew up in cults and are interested in asking all the questions we're not supposed to ask. If you are seeking cognitive liberty from dogmas and socially pressured belief systems, if you identify with the exhausted majority, which is the 67% of US voters who are fed up with polarized political fighting and feel like the system isn't working for you the way it's supposed to, if you're curious about the universe and feel excited to learn new things, if you've been rejected by loved ones for choosing a new belief system or evolving yourself in some way, we invite you to our Outpost in Borderlands. We have learned a lot of things in the lands between and beyond strongly held beliefs and black and white thinking, and we want to swap stories and tips with our fellow travelers. If you want to know who or what controls you, just look at who or what you are not allowed to question. Post-Orthodoxy is not a conversation for everyone. We're not interested in breaking anyone out of shells that they are not interested in leaving. If you feel like there's really only one right way to live, this isn't a conversation for you. If you generally divide your friends into our team and the other team, you're not going to like how we think. If you feel nervous or defensive when you hear new information, there are other podcasts out there that will feel safer to you. We are not out to feel safe or to pitch our tent. We are out to be brave, honest, and kind, and sovereign over our own minds, and see as much of the universe as possible.
If you listen to our show, some of the things that I feel proud that we've done in the last year is we've consistently been ahead of the curve of things that are affecting us socially. As a meta news program and analysis show, we deal with not just things that we find in the news, but the way we find the things in the news, how we pick through all the information, disinformation, misinformation, and propaganda to try to get a good idea of what's happening on our planet. We started talking about QAnon last year. It's become so large and so scary to a lot of people. We started talking about that because of the cult-like behavior of the organization, not to decide whether it was a good thing or a bad thing or a right thing or a wrong thing, but to look at the phenomena of the cult behavior.
And because you should know what's happening in your neighborhood.
Yes, ignoring and censoring things don't make them go away. We went to the protest in Seattle, and before we went to the protest in Seattle, we did a 4-hour program on the history of drug policy in America. So as people are just now starting to learn phrases like systemic racism and defund the police, before it was a dialogue for people in their news feeds.
At least in this recent reiteration of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Exactly. We were giving historical context to our racist drug policy and how we got to where we are today. We talked about how the red and blue are vocal minorities that are being propped up by corporate media, so that the largest section of the country is no longer seen or heard.
That's the 67% exhausted majority.
Right, and we were recently censored and gagged because of some of the analysis and news that we were doing around this important health issue of COVID-19. It's not an American story, it's a global story. So we've done a lot to analyze how we're getting information about COVID-19. We were not pro-mask or anti-mask, but instead we looked at the mask debate. Is the mask debate healthy? Is what we're doing around mask debating helping people understand the health issue, or is it dividing us further into partisan camps? So we talked about the dangers of politicizing a health issue. We talked about questioning government policy and...
no.
And anyway...
We need real microphones.
We need some real microphones and some nice light. And so we're raising money so that we can continue to do this.
Yeah, you know, it'll be a more enjoyable experience for us, it'll be a more enjoyable experience for you. and it'll be a more enjoyable experience for the guests that we bring in from all over the planet to talk about these difficult subjects in a post-Orthodox way.
Right, we need a dedicated studio so that we can do our work. It's nice that people have allowed us to use some equipment to show
What's possible.
Yeah, what's possible if we have a decent studio here.
So we need a new used computer, lights, sound, the little box that sends the camera data to your computer, the little box that sends the audio data to your computer, and some streaming equipment that would enable us to have reliable conversations with you guys from all over the planet without having a breakdown every time.
Right, I think you get the idea. We need some money for a studio. We appreciate our friends for letting us
Borrow their space before they go to work.